Hi guys, I'm Ellie and I'm going to be doing videos on some basic music theory. After each section we will review the information on the next slide so that we are constantly being reminded. Throughout the video feel free to pause as I know myself how difficult it can be to gather the information. The topic that will be discussed in this video is note names and their durations. These videos are for people who may need help developing their musical knowledge or for those who would like to gain a further understanding from a different point of view. There is a previous video on staffs, clefs and ledger lines if you'd also like to check that out if you haven't already. The first note we're going to look at is the semibreve. It looks just like a circle, which makes it one of the easiest notes to remember. The duration of this note is 4 beats. It's the largest note duration that we'll come across. The rest of the notes that we'll be looking at will always refer back to the semibreve. Here is the semibreve on the largest staff with the numbers 1 to 4. This is so that we can count along with the little audio clip of the note being played. This is what the note duration sounds like. As you can tell, there were no stops or pauses after the note had been played. This is how we know a semibreve has been played, as it lasted for a total of 4 beats. The next note we're going to look at is the minim. It looks just like a semibreve, but this note has a stem coming off it. The duration of this note is 2 beats. We've now added the numbers 1 to 4 under the staff so we can again count along. This is what the note duration sounds like. This time the note played from 1 to 2, then stopped and started again at 3 and finished at 4. This is because it only plays for 2 beats. A minim is half the value of a semibreve, which means that 2 minims make up a semibreve. The next note that we're going to be looking at is the crotchet. This note looks like a minim, but the circle is now coloured in. Crotchet's durations are only 1 beat. We've now added the numbers, so let's again count along. This time, a note is being played on each of the numbers. From this we can identify that each note is only 1 beat. We know that a minim is half the value of a semibreve, which means that a crotchet is half the value of a minim. This means that 2 crotchets make up a minim and 4 crotchets make up a semibreve. The next note is the quiver. This note looks like a crotchet but now has a flag. A flag is used to half the value of that note. This is where it starts to become more difficult as we are no longer dealing with whole notes. The quiver's duration is half a beat. We've now added the quiver to a larger staff and we now have our numbers 1 to 4 added, as well as half notes to the notes that were left. This is what the duration sounds like. As you can hear, notes are being played on the numbers as well as after. This is due to quavers only being half a beat, so it needs to be played twice to make up 1 beat. An easy way to count quavers would be change the half notes under the staff to ands. You would count this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which would make each note accounted for. So, we know a minim is half the value of a semibreve, a crotchet is half the value of a minim, a quiver is half the value of a crotchet. So this means that 2 quavers would make up a crotchet, 4 quavers would make up a minim, and 8 quavers would make up a semibreve. The last note that we're going to look at is the semiquaver. It looks like a quiver, but this note has 2 flags. The duration of this note is a quarter of a beat. We've now added a larger staff with our numbers 1 to 4 and added quarters to the notes that were left. This is what a semiquaver's duration sounds like. Again, notes are being played on the numbers as well as 3 notes being played after. This is due to semiquaver's duration only being a quarter, so we need 4 to make 1 whole beat. An easy way to count this would be to change the quarter to the letters E and A. You will count this as 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander. We know a minim is half the value of a semibreve, a crotchet is half the value of a minim, a quiver is half the value of a crotchet, which means a semiquaver is half the value of a quiver. So that means 2 semiquavers make up a quiver, 4 semiquavers make up a crotchet, 8 semiquavers make up a minim, and 16 semiquavers would make up a semibreve. There are other notes that are even smaller than a semiquaver, however they are rarely used. There are some links on the next page if you would like to look into that, but they can get very confusing for beginners. Throughout this clip we have learned about semibreves that are worth 4 beats, minims that are worth 2 beats, crotchets that are worth 1 beat, quavers that are worth a half a beat, and semiquavers that are worth a quarter of a beat. There are some links down below that you can use if you'd like to check out other explanations of note duration, if you do need some extra help. The next clip will be on note rests, which will be a continuation of this video. I've tried to make this as simple and clear as possible to help you learn some basic music theory. If you've benefited from this video, then watch out for the next one. I've been Ellie and I hope you've enjoyed watching.